Well, hello, everyone. Happy Saturday evening. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and this is the Gospel Truth Channel. Glad to have you with us. I'm a former 20-year Pentecostal minister, Bible college graduate, have over 100,000 hours of study in the biblical scriptures, and I'm here giving you information that I think, with all of that experience and expertise, proves that Christianity is a fear and guilt-based control matrix that's trying to keep you in a trap. I think you have the right to be a Christian. I think you have a right to follow the message of the Christ. And I think you have a right to have as much information as possible to see which one you want to follow. And I'll immediately get myself into trouble with some of you by continuing this series about building a personal magical practice, building a personal modern magical practice. And tonight, I'm going to ask a simple question, hopefully give some simple definitions of what is magic? What is magic? Melanie Wood got her Mystic bands today. Melanie, glad to hear it. These are those bands that you see. These are those bands you see me wearing. I hope that they'll do the same for Melanie. They help me sleep about half the time, get twice the energy, help me do great in the gym, give me enhanced abilities in my astral projection and spiritual work, help tremendously with physical virility in both males and females. Somebody derisively called them Jeff's Magic Bands. Well, guess what? Magic's real. And if taking you from a suboptimal condition and moving you into an optimal condition, if that's magic, then you know what? Maybe these bands are magic. Maybe they are modern magic, even as someone derisively stated. Now, I want you to know you can go to my website, jeffreydaugherty.com. You can find the Mystic logo. You can click on it, and you can look for yourself, see if it's something that you think is worth a try. You can look at the science. You can look at the testimonials. If you think it's something that's worth trying for you, well, all you have to do is click on this link, go check out all the different products that are offered, decide which one you want, tell me which one you want, make sure you put in your mailing address, hit the donate button. But wait, there's more, because when you go to Mystic's site, and let's say you decided, oh, I want the Silver Lightning Silicon Band. Well, if you did it that way, you'd pay $75. If you go to my site, you get a full 20% off. So help me, help you, help me, and put these magic bands to work for you. Not magic beans, but magic bands. If making you live an optimal life is magic, I'm all right with that. So let's get into our subject. How to build a modern magical practice. Well, we talked about dreams last time. We talked about the importance of writing down your dream. I wonder how some of you were doing. I wonder how some of you are doing. Did some of you write down your dreams this week? Did some of you start having dreams when you weren't having them before? I'd like to hear some of your experiences and some simple things that I didn't cover last time. If you wake up in the middle of the night and you've had a dream and you can't, for whatever reason, or don't want to, for whatever reason, write it down, crumble up a piece of paper or crumble up a piece of tissue paper, throw it right in the middle of your floor. That way, when you wake up in the morning for good, you'll see that piece of paper on the floor, and it'll remind you, oh, yeah, I'm supposed to write down my dream. And I was hoping this would happen. Shane says that his most memorable dream of this week was tigers coming into fields and into barns chasing cattle. That's very interesting. Tigers coming into fields and barns chasing cattle. Somebody's trying to eat somebody. That's very interesting. Did anybody else have any dreams this week? I told you about mine throughout the week. Anybody else have any dreams that they wrote down? Well, keep them coming in if you do. And we're going through the book Modern Magick by Donald Michael Craig. Kind of a silly cover, but it's a really good book. So let's talk about this, and you can keep your dreams coming in. If I see some good ones, I'll share them with you. Unfortunately, over on Twitter and Facebook, you're not able to see the chat, and you're not able to see any of the visuals that I show you. But if you go over to my YouTube site, Jeff Daugherty Show, or Christian Whistleblower, either one, look it up on YouTube. It'll come right up. You'll be able to be part of the chat, and you'll be able to see all of the visuals. Magick basically is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. The magic and art of causing change to occur in conformity with your will. Deborah had a dream that she was pulling her toenails off. That's an interesting one. Melissa had a dream of circles, moons, large, medium, and small in the sky. Very, very interesting. And we talked about last week, the worst thing you can do is start trying to interpret every dream you have right off the bat. The very worst thing you can do is go and get one of those books that tell you what dreams mean. They're garbage and not worth the paper they're printed on. Don't do it. Get your book, get your dream journal, write down your dreams, and you'll begin to see patterns. You'll begin to see things that come together to give you understanding. It's not something that is what you want to try to interpret onesie twosie. It doesn't work that way. But magic is the science. It's a science, number one. What does a science mean? A science means that it is an objective. And I didn't put on my microphone. It's sitting right here. Science means that it is an objective, verifiable process that is duplicatable and repeatable. So magic means that it has specific practices. It has specific formulas, things that you can follow that are duplicatable and repeatable that produce repeatable results. Robin says, what's sleep paralysis? That's a little bit outside the parameter of this broadcast. Usually it just means that you've astral projected and your spirit body's back. You haven't woke up yet. You're awake. Your physical body is awake before your spirit body gets back. I got two mics as I'm doing simulcasting on several different platforms. So let's stay focused. So the act of causing change to occur in conformity with will. And a lot of people that are Christian-based have a real problem with magic. They say it's evil. They say it's wicked. They say it's horrible. But yet, all it is learning how to direct your own will, to take charge of your own will, and to cause change by it. If you remember the Christ, he said, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. All he was talking about was causing change by the conformity of will. Willpower drives this world, ladies and gentlemen. The problem is, whose will are you being powered by? Is it your own will? Or are you doing the will of another person? Are you operating under your own power? Or are you operating under the power of somebody else? Anya saw an eclipse with people walking like they were traveling. The ocean was wavy. Mother Earth was crying. She felt something bad. Interesting. Interesting. So I would submit to you that the Christ himself was not only a magician, but a great magician, if magic is defined by learning how to direct and guide your will. And if you remember, I've talked in the past month or so about Daniel and his vision of the statue with the gold, the silver, the bronze, etc. And that statue, Daniel said, not Darty, Daniel said was representative of a AI power trying to take over the world and have itself worshipped as a god. And it was the people who Daniel called diviners that made up a rock that was not cut by hands, that smashed that false god and returned sovereignty to the people. You don't have to be a Bible scholar. You don't need 20 years of pastoral experience. You don't need 36 years of spiritual experience. You don't need 100,000 hours of studying the Bible to know that the stone cut without hands is the Christ. And if you want to be part of that stone called the Christ, Daniel says those people are diviners. They're engaged in some divinity practice. Why? Because a divinity practice, whether you use divining rods, whether you use pendulums, whether you use tarot, whether you use crystal balls, whether you use runes, whether you use tea leaves, whether you, whatever you do, it teaches you the invaluable lesson and ability of, number one, recognizing your will, number two, directing your will, and number three, realizing that your will power does have real power. It can and will make change in your life. And it's not about changing anybody else's life. It's not about Eye of Newt. It's not about standing over a cauldron and I can't remember any witch stuff right now, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not all about that. It's about controlling your own will. It's about guiding your own spirit. It's about mastering your own ascension. It's about being your own guru. It's about saying, listen, I'm not going to be under the power of somebody else's will. I will recognize, build, and focus my own power. I'm the boss of me, and I'm going to be the boss of my own world. Trump says, should I pick up my tarot again? That's up to you, brother. What do you think? Sister, can't remember which one you actually are, and that's okay. It doesn't really matter. Are you going to be under somebody else's power, or are you going to use your will power? So magic, basically defined, is the science and art of causing change to occur in conformity with will. Change is occurring in your life right now in conformity to will. Is the change in your life causing by the conformity to the will of some other power, or are the changes in your life occurring by conformity of your will under your power? It's up to you. It's up to you. Let's move on. Magic should be a change in consciousness. Magic should be a change in consciousness. Magic should produce a change in consciousness. Magic just might turn you from a sheep into a ram. Because right now, most of you are sheep. Now we're talking to thousands of people all over the world, so don't feel like I'm picking on you. But most of the people that will hear and watch this podcast over the days, weeks, months, and even years to come are probably sheep. Sheep being defined as somebody that's being herded, somebody that's being pastured, somebody that's being driven, doing things that aren't really their will just to get by and make it through another day. People that have too much month at the end of the money. People that wake up at 5:45 a.m., stumble down the stairs, stuff down a bowl of Post Toasties and a burnt piece of toast, throw on a uniform. Oh, you may not call it a uniform, but you wear the same thing to work every day, basically. You throw on a uniform, you slog off across a sidewalk, get into a car with rubber tires, drive through traffic for 45 minutes to go to a job that you hate, to hang around people that you don't like, to build somebody else's dream. That is change in conformity to will, power, but it ain't yours, brother. It ain't yours, sister. And if that's okay with you, that's okay with me. It's really not. I feel bad for you. That's your consciousness right now. Somebody says, dance, monkey, dance. Yeah. They're turning the wheel and you got the little hat in your head and you're dancing around for a peanut or two. But if you learn some magic, if you learn to, and you can tell, somebody said this on an earlier show, when you go to bed at night, you can say, I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. I will remember my dreams. You can click your heels together and say there's no place like home too, but that's probably not as effective as saying, I will remember my dreams. Wendy quit her job last year, now working for herself, loving it. Perfect. And you will remember your dreams. You can write them down. You can begin to find the profundities within that 1/3 of your life. You sleep 8 hours a day. That's 1/3 of your life. And that might just be the impetus you need to say, you know what? I'm tired of living under the power of somebody else's will. I want to live under my own willpower. It'll cause a change in your consciousness. It'll cause you to decide, you know what? I'm tired of building somebody else's dreams. I want to build my dreams. Somebody says, yeah, but you only dream about 20 minutes a night. True, but it takes you 8 hours typically to get to that 20 minutes. So if you don't write it down and use that 20 minutes, you've wasted that 8 hours. And remember, folks, time is the one commodity that once spent, you can never get it back. You can always make more money. You can always get in better shape. But once the time has been spent, it's gone, brother. Once time has been spent, it's gone, sister. They're not making any more time. So magic will, wow. Magic will change your consciousness. And if you change your consciousness, hello to you in California, hello from Florida. If you change your consciousness, you will change your life. And again, your life is being run by willpower right now. Whose will? Whose power? That's the question. That's the question. Somebody over on Twitter says, what kind of magic are we talking about? We're talking about the kind that works, brother. We're talking about the kind that works, sister. Hello in New Zealand. We're talking about magic that works and changes your consciousness and allows you to move from moving in under the power of somebody else's will to moving in the power of your own will. How about that? So, magic causes changes in your physical world. We're not talking hocus pocus. We're not talking abstract. We're not talking mental gymnastics. Wayne would call it, what's he call it? Mind coitus. We're not talking about that. And if you follow the progression, somebody says practice safe magic. I agree. If you follow the progression, magic is the power of will causing change in conformity to will. It causes changes in consciousness will cause changes in the physical environment. And may I say to you again, your physical environment is being affected by magic, which is willpower. Why do you live where you live? Why do you live where you live? Why do you work where you work? Why do you do the things you do? A lot of you live where you live because of the job you have. Is that your dream or is that somebody else's dream? Is that your willpower or under the power of somebody else's will? Boom, boom, boom. It's linear. It's progressive. Ladies and gentlemen. Magic will help you make changes in your consciousness, which will give you the information that you need to make changes in your world. And bottom line, ladies and gentlemen, magic works. And here's the bottom line on that whole thing. Your life will be run by magic. It's just a question of whether it's magic that is running you or you that's running the magic. Somebody over on Twitter says they're very skeptical of supernatural things, and they're more happy talking about willpower instead of magic. I understand that. I get that. And in fact, I really like that. I don't like reliance on spirit beings or spirit guides. Why don't you like that, Jeff? Well, because it disempowers you. How is it any better to do what a spirit guide tells you to do than it is to do what a priest tells you to do? How is it any better to do what a ascended master tells you than it is to do what a priest tells you? How is it any better to do what some angel tells you to do than it is to do what some card reader or psychic or somebody else tells you to do? What we need to do is get to the place where we're guiding our own spirit, mastering our own ascension, being our own guru. Doing what? Causing change according to the power of our will. Removing ourselves from the willpower of somebody else under the power of somebody else's will, and begin living our life under the power of our own will. How about that? Magic works, ladies and gentlemen. And in your life right now, and everybody send out good, positive energy. Let's practice some magic. Let's send out good, positive energy towards Lit T right now. You don't have to know who she is. You don't have to know where she's from. Just send out some good, positive energy right now towards Lit T. Right now, your life is being affected significantly by magic. Your life is being affected significantly by the power of will. Some of you are greatly affected because you're under the power of somebody else's will. And some of you are greatly affecting because you're under the power of your own will. Magic works. Some of you are right where you are because somebody is using magic on you. You're under the power of their will. Some of us are right where we are because we're under the power of our own will. What's your choice? Which power do you want to be under? Which will do you want to be guided by? Who do you want running your life? Who do you want running your show? Now, I am not trying to make you feel bad. Well, you're doing a good job without even trying, Jeff. Maybe I am trying to make you feel a little bit bad. Because I know when I was spending 40, 50, 60, oh, come on, I was in sales. Let's be realistic. I was spending 30, 35, 40 hours a week. We worked 6 hours a day, 5 days a week. I was spending about 30, about 35 hours a week. I was spending about 35 hours a week. Going somewhere I didn't want to go. Doing something I didn't really want to do. And even though I was getting a pretty decent commission, a lot of my energy was going towards building somebody else's dream. Let's put it this way, man. My name wasn't on the sign, okay? And it wasn't until I got sick and tired of that and decided, you know what? I'm not going to do it anymore. But it wasn't that easy because I was living in a big, beautiful house on the shores of Lake Tahoe, driving a Land Rover, having an annual paycheck with 6 zeros in it and more than one number at the front, more than 2 numbers at the front. But I was also working a lot. And that was my life. And it dictated where I lived. It dictated where I went. It dictated what I did, where I did, when I did it. So it takes what? The power of will to say, you know what? I'm moving out of the big house on the lake and moving into something smaller. Why? Because it costs less. I'm getting rid of the Land Rover and getting something else. Why? Because it costs less. I'm getting rid of all the toys. Why? Because they cost less. And what I did was, I knew what my passion was. So I started doing that passion on my quote unquote spare time. And as I was doing less of the work and spending less money on the stuff, what I was doing in my passion started producing some income. And sooner or later, I could reduce the work of somebody else that I was doing for somebody else and increase some of my own work. And sooner or later, you get at this par, and then all of a sudden you get to where what you want to do, who you want to be, is paying the bills. It wasn't then, and it ain't now, paying bills to live on the lake in Tahoe and drive a Land Rover and do all that. I will tell you right now, there are not 6 zeros in my paycheck. There are not numbers more than 1 digit in my paycheck. Not even close. But I'll also tell you this. I'm not under the power of anybody else's will anymore. I live in a mobile home that I bought. Some of you have seen where I live when you came to the extravaganza of enlightenment. I drive a PT Cruiser with a bad paint job. But I drive it where I want to drive it, when I want to drive it, and how I want to drive it. I do what I want to do, when I want to do, how I want to do it. My life is under the power of my will. My consciousness has been changed, and my world has been changed. Ooh, Kelsey says it's not where you live, but how you live. Something we used to say in the business that I was in. Your life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the number of moments that take your breath away. I have a lot of those. So it comes down to what you really value. What kind of alchemy you really want to work. If you want to live on a house on Lake Tahoe, drive a Land Rover, make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, there's a formula for that. There's a magical formula for that. But most of that formula is the power of somebody else's will. And most of that formula causes you to use up your power and your energy to build somebody else's dream. Now, you get some nice trinkets along the way, but if it's not who you are or what you are, if it's not your great basic purpose, ultimately, you'll be empty. Like they say, you never see a hearse pulling a U-Haul. This is it, man. There's no luggage rack on hearse. But if you want to live more modestly, and let's face it, folks, let's face it. Why in the world did I need a great big old huge house on Lake Tahoe? Part of the time my kids were there with me, but it was just me. Why did I need that? Does the earth need that? Does the environment need that? Did I need that? No. Man, I want a little bit of land. I want a yurt. And I want several yurts so we can have a place where we can all get together and learn some stuff. That's what I really want. So now I'm directing the power of my will to cause change and physically manifest that. It's going to happen. So what is magic? What is magic? Magic really is figuring out who you are, or maybe more accurately, figuring out who you want to be, and then focusing your energy and focusing your life on building it. Using your own power to drive your own will instead of being under the power of somebody else's will. And I'll guarantee you that you'll be much happier at the end of the day if you're living under the power of your own will than under the power of somebody else's will. And at the bottom line, magic is about you taking control of your life and doing things on your own terms. That's what magic is. Dream journal. Write it down. You know what, write it down. Figure out what your great basic purpose is. Start asking yourself, how do I manifest it? Start using your power to drive your own will once you find out what that will is. And stop living your life under the power of somebody else's will. Some of you are going to have to make some changes if you want to get to where you're going. And that takes some guts, cousin. But we are in the business of building up the power of our own will. And cousin, business is booming. Come on in. The water's fine. You want to live by somebody else's will or by thine own will? To your own heart, be true. But you got to find out what your own heart is, first of all. Let me run back through the chat real quickly. There's been tons and tons of chat. I don't know if I'm going to be able to see them all. See if there's any questions. And I love looking through the chat and seeing names of people that I get emails from, people that I know that I get comments from on the channel, people that are having their life changed by mystic bands, and people that have bought divining rods. And everybody loves them. Don't trade your time for money. Very good. Greetings from Germany. Nice to see you. New Zealand, nice to see you. The magic within, absolutely. The power is in ourselves. Brenda Bryant says, magic is really finding the power in our own selves, and it is. Sounds kind of cliche, but it really is. That's exactly what magic is. Finding the power in your own self. Iowa knew what I was searching for. Cauldron, boil, cauldron, bubble. That's not what magic's all about. That's what Hollywood wants you to think magic is about. So you'll have a negative connotation of it. Germany is beautiful. I lived in Germany for 3 years. I don't know why I don't have the scarf. They do help. I got to get them back. Thank you, Dalton. You cast spells every time you speak, says Jerry. Thoughts are things. Words. Your words are the building blocks or the wrecking balls of the life you seek to live. And it's your choice. Should your words be building blocks or should they be wrecking balls? It's up to you. And take it a step back. Your words are a manifestation of your thoughts. Your words are really your magical tools, aren't they? Because your words are what releases the energy. Your thoughts do too, but let's work with this. Your words are what releases the energy. Your thoughts are kind of the creation of the energy. So really, we talk about the power of our words, but isn't it more the power of our thoughts? Because our thoughts are what formulate the words. So, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. Let's move to I'm not going to think that. I'm not going to think that. I'm not going to think that. And really, we have to move past I'm not. Because if I tell you, don't spill your milk, you got to think about spilling your milk before you think about not spilling it. But if I tell you, keep your milk in your glass, then there's no mental disconnect. You can focus all of your energy on keeping your milk in that glass. It's clear. It's understandable. That's good communication. And what good communication really is magic. Not why am I so fat, but how do I get thinner? Not why do I have such a crappy job, but how can I get the job of my dreams? Not why does anybody love me? Why, but how can I find the right person? Building blocks or wrecking balls to your dreams are words, really are thoughts. Jeff, you really want me to control my thoughts? Yeah. But how do I do it? There's 3 ways that you learn to control your thoughts. The first one is practice. The second one is practice. And the third one is, you guessed it, practice. Looking on through the Chat room more. Vancouver is beautiful. Reprogram your mind. Germany is a beautiful country. I especially like Bavaria. I follow advice from someone who I actually knew, but usually people have poor advice. Well, guess what, folks? Free advice is worth every penny you pay for it. Think about that one. The art is to work together from time to time with a spirit guide and not get told what to do or be responsible for your actions. I don't know. I don't ever work with spirit guides, ever. I have on occasion made some allies in the spirit world for very specific purposes, but I don't work with spirit guides. I don't work with angels. I don't work with ascended masters. I carry my own water and cut my own stone. I might make an alliance from time to time, but here's the secret, folks. You can do everything a spirit guide can do and better. You can do everything a spirit guide can do and more. You can do everything an ascended master can do and better. You can do everything an ascended master can do and more. Magic, change to the focus and application of the power of your will. Your will, your power, not pastor, not priest, not spiritual worker, not spirit guide. You. Man, when you start realizing this, you'll quit arguing with me and you'll start thanking me. What about magic and alignments? I don't know what you mean, Crystal. You are love, you are peace, you are beautiful. Yep. I'm making my own magic, says Melissa. Good for you, girl. Jeff, how do we stay positive? It's a decision, isn't it? Simply a decision. An event happens. It makes me feel so negative. No, it doesn't. You choose to feel negative in response to a stimulus. It makes me feel sad. It makes me feel mad. It makes me feel glad. It makes me feel happy. It makes me feel, no, it doesn't. You are never, ever made to feel anything because feelings are under your own will. Oh, there's that word again. So when anything happens, how it makes you feel is up to you. How do we stay positive? Practice, 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 but decide to. Decide to. And you get to choose. You get to choose. Sometimes cages have to be rattled. Yes, they do. Somebody says, I'm a bad man. Yeah, I know. What are you going to do? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Yeah, me too. I believe you are a manifestor generator. I hope that I can generate some manifestors. We all have choices. Are you talking to me? Yeah, probably. Damn, Jeff, hitting the points I've been contemplating a lot lately. Divine timing, synchronicity. There are no coincidences. Are you happier, brother? I'm happy as a pig in slop, as I used to say. And if you've never seen a pig in slop, you should go look at one because they are very, very happy. Very, very content. I never noticed an armored car following a hearse. You know, it's Saturday night, right? Saturday night. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with Wayne, and not your normal Sunday show. I spent the last 2 or 3 days dealing with my uncle's estate, and he was a good guy. I mean, he 20-year veteran of the Army, 20-year veteran of the Clearwater Fire Department, a lot of accomplishments, lots of medals, lots of things. And yet, for the last 2 days, there's been people in his house picking through his stuff, taking what they want. He didn't take nothing with him. Nothing. And at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, there are going to be a bunch of people picking through your stuff, deciding who gets what. Oh, I wanted those tarps. Somebody else got them. I wanted that tool. Somebody else got it. It's what you do between now and then that makes all the difference. And really, it has to do about what you do now, because as they say, even though it's silly, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why it's called the present. What you going to do with the present? What you do without, when times get tough, you can handle it. Absolutely. Lit T had an awakening in Tahoe in November. Great. David says life is a carnival, believe it or not. Life is a game. And the people that understand that life is a game and play it and enjoy it are the ones that are successful. The biggest killer to a great life is seriousness. Ooh, and what did the Joker say in the Batman movies? Why so serious? Hidden message. Hidden message. If your life is serious, your life is not fun, your life is not a game, and you're probably not being real successful and being who you want to be, doing what you want to do. If your life is serious, I'll almost guarantee you that you're under the power of somebody else's will. And you can decide how that is. Somebody says, I want a yurt. All righty. And my uncle, we lost him a couple of years ago. It's just taken that long to decide to get together and get this stuff all done. Desire becomes surrender. Surrender becomes power. That's what the Joker said. There you go. Well, that was kind of a rambling little time. But I hope that you're getting a better understanding of magic. I hope you're getting a better understanding of will. I hope you're getting a better understanding of your life is run by magic. It is run by the concentrated power of will. Is it somebody else's will whose power you're under, or is it your will that's powering your life? Somebody said if it is to be, it's up to me. And that's the truth. What is magic? The greatest alchemy of all is finding out who you are, what you're here for, and formulating your will and driving it to fruition through your own power. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's really what it is all about. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, your friendly neighborhood Christian whistleblower. I'm here to ruffle your feathers every now and then. I'm here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru, You are the Gospel Truth Army. I salute you. March on